In high school, I rededicated my life to following Christ. Went through youth group and was interested in missions overseas. I went on several short-term mission trips with Grace to Mexico and Louisiana, and I got excited about it. It didn't really solidify until I took perspectives, and I knew that that was God calling me to the mission field. I always wanted to be in the military and was actively pursuing that. I went through ROTC, and I didn't have a peace about where my life was going. And I finally surrendered to God, and I said, okay, God, I will do whatever you want me to do. A couple days later, a gentleman approached me at Grace and asked me if I knew anything about mission aviation. And at that point, I didn't, so I looked it up and watched a couple of videos, and I knew that that's what God had for me. I had an instant peace about the aspect of me pursuing mission aviation. I started pursuing that the next semester, and here we are today, still doing that.
We actually met in youth group here at Grace. Alex and I started dating when we were both in college, so I was here at the University of Iowa. He had started at Moody already. We had been friends for a long time, and we got married about halfway through his program there.
We got married in 2011, and we didn't join MAF until 2016. That gave us enough time for me to finish flight school and then to move back to Iowa to pay off debt, to prepare ourselves for serving overseas.
When I was younger, I really felt the pull to do missions, even all the way back then. But God really needed to do a work in me at that time. God needed to show me that I am not going to go change the world by myself. That is not what He wants me to do, and that's not what I'm capable of. He needs me to walk in obedience, and that's what He wants for my heart, and that's what He wants for my life. Psalm 27 says, I'm still confident of this, that I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord, be strong, take heart, and wait for the Lord. And that's something I need pretty much every day as we go through struggles there. And knowing that we can't always see what He's doing, but He's holding our hand and taking care of us and walking with us through it, and He knows the outcome.
So we've been serving with MAF for 5 years now. The first year was spent gaining support, and then we shipped out to Indonesia. The whole family at the time was just Trish and I and Jack, our oldest son. And we went to language school on the island of Java. After that, we moved to the island of Papua, where we are serving right now. And we actually had to move to Sentani, which is the main base for all the organizations out there. And we did all of the flight and maintenance standardization for serving in that area. And then after about 10 months of that, we moved to the town that we currently serve in, which is Nabire. Our ministry is serving isolated people in Papua who live in the lowlands or in the mountains. There's no roads to get to those places, so they're very isolated. I am a pilot and a mechanic, so I fix the airplanes and inspect and maintain the airplanes that I fly. Generally, I fly 3 to 4 days a week, 3 to 4 flights per day to different places. We serve 15 villages, whether it be for educational purposes to serve the local church, the community. We serve the missionaries who are out there who are doing Bible translation or serving the local church. We get those supplies or the people. We fly out to the interior of Papua so that we can serve those people. So we use the airplane as a tool to share Jesus' love to people who might not have education or basic needs like healthcare or food. A lot of them don't even have God's word in their own language. On top of that, we do a lot of pop-up medevac flights. If someone's sick or dying in a village, we get called and sometimes have to divert plans and change our whole schedule so that we can support these people. I am sanctified through her in a lot of ways. I also am encouraged all the time of how much I need her as a support while living overseas, and how there's no way I could do what I do without her.
I think in a lot of ways we've both learned how much we need God because we're not independent of each other. Both of us on our own can't do what we do out there. We're a team, we have to work together, we have to make it work, because if it doesn't work between us, all of life doesn't work. So our dependence on each other reminds us that we're dependent on God. We're not independent of the people around us, of our community, of God's care for us.
Another verse that we have on our wall is one of my favorites. It's Joshua 1:9, do not be afraid, do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Often I struggle with fear of me doing this or me bringing my family into this thing that is super difficult and scary, and we're told not to be afraid. And God is with us. God's Spirit lives inside of us, and we don't have to trust in our own strength or our own emotions necessarily even. We can fully rely on Him to work through us and to give us the strength to be able to do whatever He calls us to do. And that gives me a lot of peace. We all do hard things. Sometimes it's packing up and moving overseas, and sometimes it's just going across the street. But we don't have to be afraid to do those things because God's Spirit is with us, and it's Him who works through us to do what He wills to accomplish.